Fields cuts inside, left to the end zone. Touchdown!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network, presented to you by Durham Remodeling and Ryan Allison Tattoo, and the For Fantasy's Sake, presented by Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill. Guys, how's it going?
What up, boys?
What's
How we
up,
living?
boys?
Brian, glad you could join us.
Well, thank you. Having another awesome Sunday morning, ready for some games, and we already got one started. So let's go.
I like that. Yeah, no, we were just talking about. Dan and I were talking before the show, and I was like, I'm trying to figure out what to put the DraftKings boost for my live bet on, and since we were talking and they muffed that punt at the end and gave up another field goal, I was like, you know what, Tannehill's going to be throwing Tannehill over half a touchdown, so let's hope that he throws it.
See, you should have.
Last score I saw was 16-3, 19-3.
Yep.
18-3 now. Yeah. Yeah, you should have listened to what me and Joe were saying. We were talking the other day. Tannehill has only thrown like 2 touchdown passes this year.
I know, I've heard. So I'm really took a gamble.
We were
the
Titans plus the points almost made the card, so we're glad we didn't put that on the card this week.
Thank goodness the show started after the game, right?
I mean, Friday we were doing our show before your guys's, and it was like this week's slate of bets is so like kind of crappy. And I wanted to take the Titans, but I was like, nah, I can't do it. No trust.
There's a lot of games that are really close spreads, and then also that are like, there's either really close or super far away from each other.
Yeah,
there's just a ton of injuries and all this other stuff. And then I tell you what, man, I'm still getting news this morning. So definitely, if you're gonna be setting some fantasy lineups here, hold off because the news keeps coming. All right, so let's roll into fantasy tender here. All right, boys, here we go. Swiping right, swiping left on Brock Purdy being the real deal.
I think I'm a swipe right. He's really impressed me. I think obviously, you don't put him in the category of an Allen or a Mahomes going for over 300 every game, but I think the way that system's built and the way he's performed, really, you have to give him his credit.
I'm going to swipe right with a caveat that as long as he's got his current players for in redraft, he's a definite swipe right. Dynasty, I'm not sure I'd swipe quite as hard right. So
as a fantasy quarterback, I don't know where is he at right now as a fantasy quarterback?
Good question, actually.
As like an actual, like when you're just looking at the games, the real deal. He's not a pumpkin, and he's improving. I think we're at the point now where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said Sunday night last week that game against Dallas was the best game he's ever played.
They got him at 14 going into this week.
Yeah, that's kind of just where he's at. There's about 10 to 12 at least quarterbacks on a weekly basis that you would definitely take above him, and then he's in a tier probably with 2 or 3 others. That's just what I feel.
Yeah, his upside is low end Q1. He's 14. He could finish 12, but a lot of that's because of the yards after catch. He's in that category. So
yeah, nope, I agree with that. I agree with a lot of those things. He looks good. He looks good. He's in the perfect situation. He's got a great defense. He's got a ton of fantastic players. So, it really is. I'd swipe right. I think he's good. All right, next. Zach Moss. Will he take enough carries from JT going forward to stay fantasy relevant?
I'm gonna swipe right on that, but leave it in the messages. I think the way that they said they wanted to run this backfield was by committee and just by who's playing the best at that moment and who's getting past the defense at that moment. And I think honestly, I think that's what you saw last week is Moss hit that big run and he was just tearing through that defense, and they just had to keep giving him the ball. You don't want to let him cool off. So I think they're going to slowly probably transition to a 2-back system.
I'm
Ryan, what do you got?
right there in that same category. Leave them in your messages. News came out this morning that it's very possible Anthony Richardson may be out for the year, which that's going to increase the number of backfield carries between him and Taylor. So I'm looking at him. I mean, he's not going to be an RB1 top 12 kind of guy, but I mean, you keep in mind in a lot of these bigger leagues, you're playing 24 to 36 running backs, so he's still there in that category.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to think Waters going to find level with the Colts, but also I'm on record saying, and I truly believe this, that Shane Steichen is a fantastic coach. So you swipe right if you're a big Steichen believer like me. I don't know if even though with all that said, I don't know if I would though, just because I do think Water is bound to find a little bit of level with Indianapolis, but we'll see. I am interested to see how it works. That is for sure.
Yeah, I definitely think you see a lot of teams going by. I mean, you don't have a lot of teams that are, have a bell cow anymore. I mean, Christian McCaffrey, he's kind of the only one that really stands out. I mean, everybody else is still kind of has like a carousel almost, like giving somebody relief and then they play the hot hand. I would have to say, for me, especially with the Richardson news, I'm going to swipe left. And the only reason being is because like Richardson was taking I think he was taking some carries from them with their legs, but they also were a little bit better of a team. So I feel like they could get out to some leads. With Minshew at the helm, I feel like they're probably going to have to pass more, which might play into Zach Moss's, I mean, if he's coming in and he's going to be the pass catching back or the third down back, that might play into his favor a little bit, but JT can catch passes and stuff. I don't know. I think like Joe said, I think the water's level here in Indianapolis. And I think I don't know that he necessarily has enough to stay relevant. And honestly, both of them, like you said, if Richardson's out, I think the wide receivers definitely take a bump. Like especially like Josh Downs, Michael Pittman. I think those guys are going to be the ones who really see the increase because I think they'll be playing from down a lot.
Hey man, though, hell of a start. Got to give it up. Whatever it is, got to give it up.
Yeah, he's killing it. All right, on to the next. Adam Thielen. Can he keep up his wide receiver one pace?
Yeah, I'm swiping right on that. I like Bryce. We saw it last week a bit. He's starting to feel a little bit more comfortable throwing towards like Mingo and Chark. But at any point when he's panicked, that little 3-yard out route to Adam Thielen is going to be there every single time, and he's going to force that. He's going to force that man to catch the ball at least 10 times.
Yeah, I'm not I'm going to swipe left. I'm not a doctor or a prognosticator of injuries, but he, at his age, with so many more games left in the season, I could see Thielen having not necessarily a major injury, but just some bumps and bruises that will keep him out of several games. So, top 12 wide receiver rest away. I'm going to swipe left on it.
I'll swipe left as well as a top 12. But, I mean, he is going to get force-fed at this point. It's clear. Someone had to – I didn't think he'd have much juice left in the tank. His tape is never pretty. As someone who is a tape watcher, especially of a team with a rookie quarterback like Bryce Young. But, he will get force-fed a lot, but I doubt he'll stay at this level.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'm swiping left as well. And the big reason why is I wrote up in my article both DJ Chark and Jonathan Mingo, and I think it does play to the fact that Bryce Young is starting to get more comfortable in there. And I mean, if you look at them both, I mean, they both had like 7 and 8 targets last week. So I think Thielen's going to continue to get fed, but I just don't think the big top plays will be there anymore. I think it's going to be those out routes. Yeah, he's going to catch 10 balls, for 70 yards, but is that enough to keep you, up at the top tier with the rest of them? No, I don't think so. All right, and last on the list here is Sam Laporta, tight end 1 material.
Swipe left. As long as Taylor Swift's boyfriend is still in the NFL, he's not going to get up there.
Yeah, I'll swipe left as the tight end 1, but he's still a top 3, top 4 option. But no, Kelsey, I totally agree. As long as he's in the NFL, he's the tight end 1.
Y'all are just so depressing. He's not the tight end 1, but he's a tight end 1. He's the second best. All right, let me ask this. Let me reframe this. Can you name 5 tight ends you'd rather have in the league better right now other than him?
Absolutely.
I can name like 2.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't.
I think tight end 1 overall, no way. But I think that I think if another year or two, I think he will probably be competing with Kelsey for that top spot. I think Mark Andrews a couple years is kind of behind him now. And I mean, we saw it the first couple games before they traded Hawkinson. If the ball wasn't going to Amon Ra, it was going to a tight end. So it's, I think as he progresses more into his second, third year, he's going to be getting more and more touches. I think I saw this on Twitter the other day. Someone said Sam Laporta is what we thought Kyle Pitts was going to be.
Or possibly Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
Well, Kincaid's got a, they're trying to figure out the structure on, personnels and whatnot in Buffalo when it comes to Kincaid. But yeah, Laporta does do a little bit more than he does.
Yeah, I definitely like Laporta. I took some flyers on him, especially this year in draft, late drafts in the late rounds, and it's really paid off. We got a comment here from DJ. Do you have Laporta, Hawk, or Kittle?
Laporta.
Them 3 and Kelsey are the Mount Rushmore in the league right now at the tight end position. I don't know if there's anybody else I'd sneak in that top group.
And to me, Kittle's a distant third out of that group.
He has his moments, definitely. Still,
and the problem with Kittle is there's too many weapons in the offense. There's not enough mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's a big reason why you have Laporta doing as well as he is. We talked about Dalton Kincaid. I mean, Gabe Davis is he catches the long bombs. I mean, they still have Dawson Knox. They're still fighting with Stephon Diggs. And then you have Josh Allen, who's taking, that guy just likes to stud out sometimes. So Laporta really fell into probably the best situation that you could fall into. Now if Kyle Pitts was on the Lions, Kyle Pitts probably lives up to his hype.
The thing about Hawkinson also, I actually love him, but Cousins' contract is going to be, he said today he's going to waive his trade agreement, and he's going to stay with the Vikings for the rest of the year. But then what are you looking at next year? I don't know.
Joe, I mentioned Allen, and I just see the grin on your face. You really not like Allen that much?
Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I don't like the Bills, but no, you mentioned but my thing was Gabe. You mentioned Gabe Davis, and I'm just like, hey, we everyone's been banking on him for 4 years now, so about time Gabe Davis had a good year, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like
he didn't say his name, and look what he did.
I know.
Stuff happened.
I popped at the Kirk Cousins news. I'm not going to believe that. If they lose, if the Vikings lose today, things are going to start getting weird in Minnesota.
I tell you, I think they need to give Cam Akers a shot here. I think Madison, like we all kind of, well, not all of us, but get high hopes for Madison, who coming in after Cook. He always looked good coming in relief, and then I think Akers still has it. And when the Rams were giving him the ball last year, he was doing it. But yeah, I think like you said, I think things are going to get really weird here if they lose today, which I really do think they are. I took the Bears with the points, so.
The thing with me with Madison is that this is also the first year he's having to step into this role. And if this team does go downhill, if Cousins does somehow get traded, and they, decide, hey, we're going to sit Jefferson the rest of the year to monitor this injury, they're going to have to give him his reps to get him used to it. They can't just keep him, sitting around and wonder next year, like, oh, why didn't he get better? Because they're not giving him the reps.
Exactly. All right, let's end it there.
Yeah, I was going to say Jordan Addison's going to go nuts today. I do have confidence in that. And I'm not just saying that because I have him in my biggest league. I think he's awesome, and I think he's going to get force fed today.
I like it, and now you're making me rethink my freaking lineup, man. Okay, well, we're going to go to commercial here. We're going to go with Durham Remodeling here.
Durham Remodeling has been serving the Quad Cities area since 1973, and with over 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all of your home improvement projects. This family-owned business has you covered on all your needs. Protect your home or building from the elements today and get great roof repair services. Need new windows? No problem. Durham Remodeling can upgrade your windows and doors. Whether you want to upgrade the little details in your home or office, or want to tear a room down and start fresh, the expert contractors at Durham Remodeling have your back. Even the smallest changes can completely transform your space. Ready to start entertaining your friends for backyard barbecues? Durham Remodeling will help you plan, design, and build your deck and patio for the perfect outdoor space. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 today for your free estimate for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715. Transform your body into a canvas of exquisite storytelling and profound self-expression with the skilled hands of Ryan Allison. Craft custom masterpieces that tell your unique story together. Ryan specializes in color tattoos as well as black and gray. He also practices a diverse range of styles, whether you're passionate about anime, fantasy, mythology, pop culture, video games, movies, the esoteric, nature, creatures, dot work, black work, or you have your own ideas. Ryan embraces your distinct vision with an unwavering commitment to passion, precision, and originality. Each project he undertakes is a labor of dedication, a fusion of research, artistic ingenuity, and profound symbolism. His commitment to authenticity is nothing short of remarkable, infusing his very soul into every creation. From half and full sleeves to bodysuits, awesome back pieces, to majestic front panels, Ryan is the artist for anyone seeking powerful, breathtaking artwork. With every stroke of his needle, he weaves a tale that's as unique as you are. Don't settle for ordinary tattoos when you can elevate your ink to the extraordinary with Ryan Allison. Embark on your creative journey by booking a consultation with him and proudly exhibit your story on your skin. Visit Ryan at Why Not Ink Studio in North Park Mall or check out his portfolio online at ryanallison.art. Ryan Allison Tattoos. When you choose me, you're not just getting a tattoo, you're getting an experience.
All right. Back on it here. So let's go ahead and give an update on Toys for Tots. So Toys for Tots, the participant leader, Jeff Sanders, card subject to change division with 823.98 total points. Toys for Tots celebrity leader is Stripes, host of card subject to change, 821 points. And then Toys for Tots Ladies League, Bonnie Robinson. I believe she's been in the lead for a while. She's 10-0 on the season, 1,054.74 points. I started off so hot in all those leagues. I think I was 5-0 in both of them, and then just the last 3 weeks have just been terrible, just awful.
I got hit with my first loss in my league this last week, and that one was tough.
Yeah. Jordan saying water finding level. Look at that. That's the theme of the show today. It all comes back around.
Right. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and so for the rest of the season, if you had to choose someone, and it's going to go quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, Starting with the quarterback position, Brock Purdy or Jared Goff?
Give me Goff. They're gonna throw the ball more. But I feel like even though I think Purdy's a top, getting close to a top, at least in the top 2 tiers of quarterbacks, I think that the way that offense is run in Detroit and the way their defense has been playing, that Goff's gonna have to use his arm a lot more than Purdy.
Yeah, I'm on the Jared Goff bandwagon. My big question for this segment would be rest of season bench stash: Jameson Williams or Josh Downs.
Ooh. Probably JMO. How's that passing game going to look? Because Josh Downs is their third. Does he have their second or third most targets right now?
I think he's got the second.
Okay, so he's got more. He's got more targets than Pierce.
Yes.
So okay, I was wondering exactly if that was the case.
Yeah, he's second on the team in yardage as well with 255 yards. Alec Pierce is at 124 and Kylan Granson is at 103.
Oh, nope. There we go. This should be better. Oh my God, that's not better. This should be better. There we go. We're back.
Like that.
So yeah, I will. Sorry, I guess I didn't answer this question.
No,
I will go.
good.
I will go Jared Goff. I will go Goff. He's been great, and the Lions. I obviously I love this team. So yeah, I will go Goff. Purdy. On a fantasy perspective, I mean, if you expect him to throw 3 or 4 touchdowns each week, maybe, you know. But if that keeps happening, then I think I'm just going to retire from giving takes about football.
Right. Yeah. I think you guys hit the nail right on the head. For sure. Jared Goff. I mean, just Brock Purdy and the 49ers defenses, they're really kind of holding their own. They can really lean on the run game. Not saying that David Montgomery's not been great, nor had, and even the Lions defense has been really good. It's been a step up. But I think the 49ers just tend to handle, their opponents no problem. Where, you saw it against Seattle where Jared Goff, he was forced to throw. So I think you're going to get those games a lot more often than you would against the 49ers. So, yeah, Jared Goff for me. All right, on to running backs. Kyron Williams or Isaiah Pacheco?
I'm going to go with Kyron Williams here. Even though both of them have the majority of the backfield, Kyron really seems to have no competition, even though, what's his name, Rivers is getting a little, not really getting any. And Kansas City from week to week can go pass heavy if they choose to. So I'm going to go with Kyron Williams here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with you there on Kyron Williams, just because as much as I feel like I would be surprised if you see McKinnon or Edwards-Helaire get more touches as the year goes on. You never know what Andy Reid's gonna do. They could just decide that they're not gonna run the ball the entire game and just put an extra wide receiver in the backfield. So and I think he's more of a Kyron Williams has been a little bit of a touchdown vulture this year. So, and from what I've seen, they're throwing the ball down the field, getting it inside the 10, and then just running it.
How the hell is Pacheco the 6th top running back in fantasy? Good God. I mean, I would say Williams, but I mean, Pacheco can just quietly put up these types of points. The thing is, I don't trust their run game enough. Because I feel like the Chiefs' run game isn't as consistent as it would need to be in order to keep it up. But Williams is I think both these teams are definite RB1s. I mean, I think you really only see McKinnon and CEH for the Chiefs in these certain spotty roles. I would probably just go Williams off the fact that, you can probably trust their run game a little bit more. But if you actually look at the counting stats, I mean, they're very similar. So it is and Kyron is boosted by 2 huge performances against San Francisco, where he caught 6 balls, and the game against the Colts where he had 2 touchdowns. So 2 rushing touchdowns and 100 yards. So their counting numbers are good. This is a really good one when it comes to the comparison between the two. You probably couldn't go wrong with either. Maybe trust the Rams running offense a little more than the Chiefs, but the counting stats are definitely way closer than I thought it was. And I think Pacheco is really good. It's just the Chiefs' run game on a down-to-down basis. I don't trust too much. But the Chiefs right now are also in BS mode. Like they're busting out the annexation of Puerto Rico. They're coming out running the wing T. They're out here trying to like fake field goals on 3rd down. Like I don't know. Like I'm expecting them to line up the defense on offense next week just to see what not next week, the next Denver game, just to see if it works. We're going to see Chris Jones taking them shotgun snaps.
Better have an IDP league.
But so I guess Williams slightly, but both guys I think are definitely trustworthy, and I know that's cheating, but I will say if I had to pick one, it would be Kyron.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as you. Like it's just not being able to trust the Chiefs running game. So now going back to what was it, Thursday? They played Thursday against the Broncos, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Going back to Thursday night, I was like, man, Isaiah Pacheco, I was like, he's a shoe-in for anytime touchdown.
I thought he'd have a good game. I really thought that they would I thought they'd be able to run the ball all over them. But again, they were in BS mode. They were busting out like they were like, let's get Matt Nagy out there to throw him a bubble screen if they could. Like they would have done that. Yeah,
no, you're not wrong. But it was just like we talk about Andy Reid and about him being unpredictable, but he's just as predictable as he is unpredictable. It didn't matter where they were. It didn't matter how good Pacheco was running. It didn't matter how close to the goal line they were. If it was 3rd down, McKinnon's coming in the game. Doesn't matter. I think they were on the 4 or the 5 at one point, and I think it was a little. Oh God, who'd he hit? It was he hit Kadarius Toney for the little bootleg into the corner and scored the touchdown. But I mean, the 2 plays before that, Pacheco, if I'm not mistaken, ran for like 4 yards and then 5 yards, and it was like they were really close to the end zone. And I like you said, I think Kyron Williams has the touchdown equity. They're going to give the ball to the guy inside the 10 or inside the 5, where Pat Mahomes is good enough to where he's going to. He can throw it, he can roll out. You have Travis Kelce, who's a big body guy who, they go to in the red zone all the time. They have the little plays like they did where they hit Tony in the corner. So Kyron Williams for me, I do like what Joe said about both. I mean, Pacheco's been fantastic. And, and had we known at the beginning of the season that he was going to get this workload and, with that being a 3-headed monster back there, if Pacheco was, hey, he's a clear cut, he's going to get 75% of the touches. I mean, I think he would have been drafted a lot higher than what he really was. But Kyron Williams for me. And then on to the next.
DJ's out here taking shots in the comments.
Yeah, he's just killing it.
Hey, probably said some stuff about me. Joe bar in the doorway, like he pulls up anywhere but the buffet. DJ, shut your mouth, and that's not mine.
Oh God, that's savage. All right, wide receiver.
Right. DJ, let's have a race to 5 push-ups. That'll be good content.
I need next year when we do the draft, the order gets decided by an NFL combine.
Have you seen that stuff looks so much fun, dude?
Bro, I'd blow my ACL out.
I'm in a league with a bunch of old guys.
I'd pop my knee and Achilles all at once.
Oh, you guys are too much. All right, so wide receiver position, we're going DJ Moore or Michael Pittman.
DJ. Dad is about to become Buddy Ball University, baby.
Yeah, I think they found the rhythm. They found the secret recipe for this offense, I think, a little bit. And with Minshew coming in, I think Gardner has to they're going to have to learn a new connection than what he had with Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go DJ Moore. I do have some concerns that they'll have consistent enough passing volume. But that being said, the route tree consists of Komet and Moore, and that's it. So it's, to me, it's got to be more. There's enough mouths to feed an Indy. So.
Yeah, and I think they take a big hit with, if Richardson was still in there, yeah, it might sway me a little bit more. But even then, I think DJ Moore is going to get the passing game more, like you said, Buddy Ball University. I expect him to show out today as well. I don't think it'll be for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, but I kind of like the ping pong back and forth in my lineup with either Osborne or Addison and then DJ Moore.
No, but he is going to get a third of the targets each week at least.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I saw. I'll bring it up there myself. I actually saw a couple things on the receiving core that for the Bears, that actually looks pretty good today. I might actually start tailing it a bit.
Nice. All right, and last one here: Kyle Pitts or Jake Ferguson?
The man, the myth, the legend himself, Jake Ferguson, of course. Nah, I think the way that offense is run, it's become the Bijan Robinson show. Every pass is either him or Jonnu Smith, and then occasionally Drake London gets a throw every once in a while. I think they almost wasted a draft pick on Kyle Pitts, and like I said last week, until Arthur Smith is out of there, then Kyle Pitts will struggle the rest of the season.
Arthur Smith out of there?
I do not want him there.
Bold.
The man whose dad had to gamble to save his company should not be running a football team right now.
I don't know, man. I love what they're doing offensively. You're playing with an arm tied, but now listen, I think they have goofed the gab and effed the duck, if you know what I'm saying. But okay, I wasn't on last week because I overslept, so I wasn't on for the portion in Fantasy Tinder when y'all talked about Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is okay. Now, granted, last week they finally tip of the cap to Desmond Ridder. He had the best game of his career, and Kyle Pitts got 11 targets. So we'll see. There's a chance where maybe that can start being a thing. I think Desmond Ridder at home, you definitely might want to start Pitts for the upside if that's going to be where they kind of try to take advantage. And on the road, don't start him because Desmond Ridder is like the home and road split king. Like he is the Colorado Rockies of football, dating back to even his college career at Cincinnati. Kyle Pitts is still hurt. Like you could just watch the game. He's laboring out there. He doesn't move well. I do believe at times if you just you could probably YouTube a 45-second clip of Kyle Pitts routes. There's never moments where it's like, oh, they should throw the ball to him here. Oh, he's open here. Oh, let's get Kyle Pitts the ball here. Like he's definitely laboring. Last week he looked a lot better and they were able to get him the spots, but throughout the season, you can definitely tell that he still hasn't been right. And I'm shocked, Daniel, that you think Smith is the issue because I love what they're doing. I love the way they formation you. I love what their offense consists of. Ridder has had a couple moments, but obviously the Jags game, he was horrendous. I think the Falcons have a good, solid recipe of stuff, and I think Arthur Smith is creative and does a good job. But yeah, I think the Pitt stuff, hopefully last week was a sign that maybe they can start getting him going. But I just think throughout this year he hasn't looked right. He just hadn't looked right, and last week was finally a shining moment. I
don't like his play call. If you watch it, it's nothing but if it's not a Bijan Robinson handoff, it's a Bijan Robinson dump down. And granted, Bijan is a great player, could potentially be going into next year a top 5, top 10 back easily, just like he was before the season even started. Everyone knew what was going to happen. But it reminds me a lot of what happened the last couple of years in Baltimore when they knew, okay, if the ball is not going to Mark Andrews and Lamar's not running it, they're not going to give it to anyone else. If the ball is not being handed off to Bijan and it is not being tossed 50 yards down the field to Drake London or a short drop-off pass, no one else is touching the ball more than 10 yards. And that's what I feel like from what I've seen, that's what they've been getting the Falcons on in the last couple of weeks is this okay, if we shut down the deep ball, if we shut down the drop pass, we're going to have to force him to throw it to someone. And that person's not going to be there. Now, granted, yeah, the injury right there, that can definitely be the reason because they're marking him a lot better. But until they either center the game plan for a couple games around him in London, I don't buy into this not just being Bijan Robinson and then 10 other guys.
Yeah, well,
go
my
ahead.
answer here was actually going to be Jonnu Smith, but since it was framed the way it was, I guess I'll go Ferguson.
Yeah, I'm probably biasy for me because I'm a Cowboys fan, but I think Ferguson gets looks kind of everywhere where like Kyle Pitts is just kind of he's there. I mean, he might be hurt, but they really don't use him to his full potential.
Oh my God, Kyle Hamilton just got tossed. Oh my God. Sorry.
Right. So real quick here before we hit another commercial here, Nathan H with a question since we're talking about tight ends. He's got Pitts, Ertz, and Njoku on the waivers. He's got Waller, but he's nervous to play him. You think he should grab somebody and start somebody else from the waivers? Pitts, Ertz, or Njoku?
I do think this is a week to play Pitts. This has turned into a Kyle Pitts show. Weekly we joke about the scoring on American soil, the joke, which I started. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Doug Green, if you're watching, you're welcome for that glorious content. Love you, buddy.
It's fantastic content every week.
We Kyle Pitts always is the center of discussion. We all just need Kyle Pitts jerseys.
I'm getting one.
Not me.
There was a week, honestly, to probably do it. You could probably roll out him because Washington plays a lot of man. I feel like Smith's going to dial some definitely going to try to dial some stuff up. Their O-line's really good, so they should be able to protect because Washington, as good of a D-line as they have, they don't pressure the quarterback much. So I do think out of this group, that just stay with that and play Pitts or Waller.
It's ugly.
Even with Ty. Here's a question for y'all. Tyrod as a seasoned vet, you feel like he's going to just try to force feed the real good player, right? Like that game is going to be disgusting. We'll talk about that later. But you would think that Tyrod's motive coming in is like, listen, I know I'm not going to have time. I'm not going to trust much. I'm just going to find 12. That's his number, right? 12. I'm going to find that. I'm going to find Mr. Kelsey Plum, and I'm going to put the ball on his face every play. Like 15 targets for Darren Waller. That's on the board.
I think as much as I just absolutely crapped on the Falcons, I think, Pitts is the option there. And, Joe, you can call me a hypocrite because you already know one of my plays. And
you hypocrite.
This team.
You hypocrite.
I mentioned it last week when I talked about the Bears game, and I took Kmet and Justin Fields because the Commanders had one of the worst defenses in the NFL with passing, and they let off a lot of yards to tight ends. They gave up 42 to Cole Kmet, and I think it was a week or two ago they gave up nearly 100 to a guy that averages like 15 yards a game. I'll have to double check that one, but it's oh wow, Claypool's sitting again. Anyway, I would say either him or Ertz, because with both teams' secondaries, I don't see anything. I see the quarterbacks both having a solid amount of time, and I think the Rams are smart enough now to know that they need to guard Hollywood, and that's going to be Dobbs' go-to every single time, and it's going to leave Ertz open in the middle. But Njoku with PJ Walker as his quarterback this week against the best defense in the NFL, no shot.
Come on, 5 points.
Yeah, I'm going to go contrarian and go with Ertz here. It's a really good matchup for him, and I think he'll actually get a big week in regards to say 7 or 8 targets. So I'm going to go Ertz.
Perfect. All right, we're going to pay some bills, guys. We're going to go ahead and get some of these commercials knocked out here. Here's one from Route 96.
For Fantasy's Sake has teamed up with Route 96 Boutique to raise a little more cash for Toys for Tots this season. From September 10th until the end of November, 10% of all purchases made with Route 96 on Sundays will be donated to us for our Toys for Tots drive. At Route 96, they believe in girl power. They want a place that people of all shapes and sizes can shop and feel empowered and beautiful. They want you to be the best you possible, and they are committed to bringing you different styles while also providing some basics to express the true you. You can find them on Facebook and at route96boutique.com.
And we got Clint's Draft House up next.
Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up $1 wings and $2.50 drafts and domestics all day. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games? You'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and beer fix, finish off your football watching experience with one of their famous Quad City-style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 24 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline.
Are you looking for the largest slice in the Quad Cities? The right spot is Lopez Pizza. It's better than a hot dog and a handshake. They have two great locations, uptown on Brady for your delivery and catering needs, and downtown at 429 East 3rd Street in Davenport for the full experience. Lopez is family-owned and family-friendly. Into wrestling like us, you can catch shows every day and twice on Sunday at their downtown location. Who knows, you may run into a local wrestler or a local podcaster or two while you're there. Stop by each month for a different featured slice by various artists. Lopez Pizza, a proud sponsor of the Card Subject to Change podcast on the For Frequency's Sake podcast network.
All right, and we're back here. We're going to go ahead and hit up some daily fantasy with the fantasy expert, Brian Craighead. Brian, what do you got?
Well, first of all, the first question everybody asks is in regards to stacks. I'm going to give you three: a high-priced, a mid-priced, and a lower-tiered. High-priced, I'm going to go with Tyreek and Tua. Mid-priced, I'm going to go with what we shared on our show the other night. Jordan and I were both on the Burrow and Chase wheel. That's definitely a mid-price. And low price, I actually like Gardner Minshew and Josh Downs. So those are my stacks for the week.
I want to ask real quick. I'm not the DFS, expert at all, but I'm just curious. Does do you think we start seeing some return on investment on the Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley stack?
I like that stack. I went a little cheaper at wide receiver. I went Christian Kirk instead of Ridley. He's about $1,300 less. So, but yeah, I like the Jaguar stack, and that's actually one of my favorite games this week: the Jags and the Colts. So, yeah, definitely options there.
I'll say, what's your thoughts towards when you look at running backs and you have some lower price ones? You got Mercado out in Arizona. You got Foreman out in Chicago. They're going to be pretty much taking a lot of downs. What do you see in terms of like a low value running back?
My favorite low value this week is actually Chuba at 4,300, but I like Deontay there. He's going to get the whole backfield, like you said. I'm not quite as excited about DeMarcado because Keontae Ingram, I think he's going to play. And on the depth chart, he whatever. I don't know that it really is true, but he's listed as the feature back, the lead back. So when Ingram's now been listed as playing, it kind of lowers my excitement a little bit. But there's still plenty of options to help build your lineup. So for value, those three running backs plus Downs, cheap at wide receiver. One thing that Jordan and I totally agreed on the other night was there's a ton of quarterbacks out there that have good matchups, and typically speaking, it's hard to find an inexpensive quarterback to roll with. But this week you got several options, like Baker's at 5,400, and like I just said, we got Gardner at 5,000, the bottom of the barrel. So there's a lot of opportunity there for cheap, and then you can really pay up elsewhere. Including, I don't typically like to go in an expensive defense, but if you wanted to go this week, you can go with the 49ers. It seems like a pretty much slam dunk.
Cool.
Yeah, the
Question
49ers look really good. Go ahead.
I was going to ask. You brought up Chuba. Is Miles Sanders not playing, or is
No,
he
Yeah,
changed?
he's out.
injury.
Okay. So okay. I've been seeing Hubbard. Okay, I'm glad I sniped him in a couple spots. Then he's been lingering, and nobody had been picking him up. And I saw his projected numbers this week were high, and I was like, "What did Miles Sanders get kidnapped?" Even though I'm not a big Miles Sanders believer, like, did someone tell him the game was in Miami of Ohio and not Miami of Florida? But
Just teasing. He forgot to get on the plane, so no.
yeah,
And Chuba was already starting to get some touches. So
right. Yeah, so I was curious about that. I'm glad that went over. So yeah, I got him in 2 leagues today, so I'm feeling good about Chuba then. Even though I think that game could be right around where the spread right around where the spread is, but I feel like if they move the ball today, it's going to be on the ground.
my only hope is that they'll keep the game within the spread, like throughout the game, as opposed to like a late rally to get it close to the spread.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty much Dolphins everywhere in terms of my fantasy teams this year, and I don't want to blow out where we have to hand the bar all the time to Mostert. So,
Sure.
Now, question for you on like tight ends, because I always just end up buying high because it just never seems to be anything I really like in terms of tight ends. And I mean, you got players like Komet's value went up after his last 2 weeks to like 61. And you have someone like Goddard who had a good week last week. Is there anyone like that's a buy low, or do you just kind of take what the best one available is?
well, guys, as much as I hate to say it, it seems like it's become the Kyle Pitts show. It's exactly where I went. It's like, why don't we just talk an hour and a half about Kyle Pitts? But
We could do that.
If this man puts up a goose egg, I'm
gonna snap.
You're gonna laugh, but hey man,
Here comes his first 3 touchdown game on American soil ever.
bro, go off, dude.
yeah, I had him last week. I had him last week in DFS, and he got like 15 points for $3,500 salary. So it helps you buy elsewhere. I mean, if I had to pick one upside guy in terms of high price, I would only roll out Hawkinson. I don't want Komet, and I don't want Kittle, and I don't want anybody. Goddard was probably my second highest price guy.
I'm gonna say, would you stack Pitts with your other Falcons favorite, Jonnu?
Yeah, exactly.
You've been saying his name last couple of weeks, so I was thinking
double Atlanta Falcons tight ends.
In my league of record, I just picked up Jonnu because basically there's no tight ends on the waiver wire. So
yeah, no, that's gross. Somebody who I thought, especially for just a lower price guy, Logan Thomas. So the opposite side of that game, he had 11 targets last week. The dude's healthy. He's always in line for an in-game injury, though. It seems like he gets concussed every other game. So I do like Logan Thomas as far as 35. He's 3,500, so he's right there with Kyle Pitts. They're both the same price. If you want to go based off of ownership, Kyle Pitts is the second highest owned tight end on the slate. So everybody else is kind of thinking the same thing. So this is kind of where, maybe if you want to get a little bit different, you do have Logan Thomas, who's only 7% owned. So, but yeah, as you start to get kind of higher priced, those, Dallas Goedert. I mean, the only good thing that happens when you pay up for one of those other position groups that you could always pay down for is just the fact that their ownership's really low. So if you have a guy like Dallas Goedert, who last week broke the slate with like 27 points, just completely went off. Like if you had him, nobody had him. So, you're getting 27 points from a position that, is you can usually bank on, 10 to 12. So it just sets you, and he was only 4,200 last week. So it just sets you in a league of your own. Brian, you want to field some questions from the chat here?
Oh, sure.
All right, so check it out. So how do you feel about this lineup? Quarterback Gardner Minshew, Mostert, McCaffrey as running backs, Chase, Osborne as wide receivers. Tight end is Pitts. Flex is Downs, and then Seattle defense.
I really like that lineup. You and I the other night had several of those players. So I don't love the Seattle defense. I went with the Lions. I don't know off the top of my head the difference in price. So
yeah, I think Seattle's actually at like 3K. I think Detroit's cheaper.
if you can fit the Lions, I prefer the Lions over the Seahawks. But I actually really love that lineup. So
yeah, Seahawks are $3,000. Detroit's 2,700.
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
personally, I'd go with the Lions, but that's just me.
Then we've got a question from Lydia here. Should I start Laporta, who is still questionable, or Jonnu Smith?
You're going Laporta here. Laporta seems to be good to go. In fact, it's already past 10:30. So if we have access, maybe we can see if he was listed inactive or active.
I guess you got to get those in.
I haven't seen one way or the other yet, but I'll do a double check.
Yeah,
This
planning
is
for
actually who I'm
Laporta
playing this week that asked that
active.
question.
So, yeah, they're planning for him to be active. Nothing's set in stone yet. He's still holding a Q tag, at least on the DraftKings site.
Watch, he'll play one play and then say nope, can't do it.
It's like the NBA trying to get their all NBA games up. I need to come in for the tip off, and then I'm going to foul so I can say that I played this game.
The 5 minute. What was it? There was a guy who bet Draymond Green under 1.5 points, rebounds, and assists because he was coming in to intentionally foul and then walk off so he could play when Clay came back.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude put like $100 on it, and won like 20 grand.
That's amazing.
I love it. All right, got one more question here at the bottom. Just came in.
Oh my god.
Tua or Field?
Tua or Fields? Tua. I always love the upside in regards to running for Fields, but I'm going Tua. What do you think, Joe?
Both of them.
Hopefully it's a super flex.
As the resident Dolphin and redacted fan on the show, I am a fan of both. I think, definitely a fan of one. I would. That is a good question. If you only had to choose one this week, because the question's going to be: do you trust the redacteds to continue to be decent when it comes to game planning? Because the Vikings are probably going to try to blitz the hell out of them, and if they're smart, then there are shot plays to be had there for Justin, right? There's obviously, no matter what, shot plays to be had with Tua, and the Panthers defense hasn't been good. If you had to choose between the two, I would probably say just stay with the more consistent hand this season in Mr. Tagovailoa. But, as we were talking about a little earlier, that could be a game where it's 21-0 or 21 or 17-0 or 24-3 or 24-7 in the first quarter and a half, and then all of a sudden it's a lot of handoffs to Mostert and Jeff Wilson, who I think is playing today. So yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. I've been seeing the third back that they brought in. I can't even remember his name off the top of my head.
Ahmed.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people are saying with his increase in usage that look for him.
Hey,
to get a bunch of touches today too.
I'm with it.
Jeff Wilson was not.
Go ahead.
Jeff Wilson was not activated off the IR.
Okay, so Ahmed.
So
yeah, Ahmed's a solid player too. By the way, go Illini. ILL, baby. Hey, Maryland, don't schedule you're supposed to schedule teams you think you can beat on homecoming. You dorks.
Stupid idiots.
Yeah, you stupid idiots. Sorry. I'm sorry, Mike Loxley. I like you a lot.
All right. So I think we're caught up now here. So Brian, you gave us your favorite stacks. We answered some questions. Got anything else for us? Anything late breaking? Anything else?
No, that'll do it. I mean, like I said, one of my favorite games to play on both sides is going to be the Colts and the Jags. So that's kind of one of my more exciting games to target. So
I like that. All right, so let's hit it again now here. Low pies. Let's go ahead and we're hitting right here. We'll be right back.
For frequency's sake has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Cards Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Enter Pit Row with Rod Villagomez and Fast Money as we win the checkered flag with NASCAR, Xfinity, and truck race winners and props. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? We've got a double dose of action there. The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Want an analytical take? Nick Gurl and the team at Gridiron AI come to you each week with The Lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellas come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance looking at all the day's action. Can't get enough of Joe? He comes to you 3 times a week. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip on into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
Take your energy level to new heights this football season with Lifted Energy. Try any of Lifted's 9 specialty energy drinks or create your own and conquer fatigue. Visit Lifted this fall at 2430 16th Street, Moline, or check their Facebook page at Lifted Energy to see what festival, market, or fair they are popping up at today. Lifted Energy, get lifted.
All right, guys, back again. Okay, going into, I think we lost Brian. No big deal, keep rolling. Got Joe's bets. Joe, what do you got for us?
Who's Joe and what kind of bets does he have? All right, so we finally did a live Signal Sinister 6. Daniel was with me on Friday night. Yeah, Friday night.
Yeah.
Hey man, we did okay. We yesterday was a bit rough. USC was a no-show from the start. Even though the over hit, I'm glad I just stayed away from Washington, Oregon, because I have not had that much fun watching a football game in quite some time. That was the game of the year. Washington should be ranked number 1. Oregon should be ranked in the top 5 as well. But you know, the AP voters are cowards. I had a 2 a.m. reactionary hot take as a college football fan last night. If the 12-team playoff existed this year, Oregon and Washington would be potentially playing for the title. But you know, whatever. We hit that LSU over. DJ was sweating. DJ had tuitions on the line last night, Daniel. He was sweating it out in the chat. And as I said in the chat last night, LSU said he got his Thanos on because he saw Auburn wasn't taking advantage. Saw LSU's defense played well. And LSU put their hand in the Infinity Gauntlet and said, "I'll do it myself." And they got us. They took us over the line. But yeah, man, this week for lines is, I don't know if gross is an understatement, but it's a whole lot of, 1.5-ish, 2.5-ish spreads combined with a lot of, look at all these blowouts. By the way, speaking of blowout, not really speaking of anything, it's about to be Malik Willis time in Tennessee again. RT finally just limped off to the back.
Great. There goes my bet.
67 yards going into the fourth quarter.
It's been terrible, bro.
Tajay Spears is a better QBR than him right now.
So yeah, Daniel's got a couple frisky bets that are like some really nice, interesting touch, longer shots that he'll get to that are really good. Mine are more basic. I will say this for the NFL slate, what I do for the Sinister Six each week, when I roll up and start looking at games, around Tuesday, I pull out the old iPhone notepad and I just start putting games in it from college and the NFL that I like, whether it's game totals, team totals, and spreads. Because that's my lane. I don't go into the player props, things like that. So I don't like putting that type of stuff. And I don't want to ever put like money line stuff on my Sinister Six either. My thing this week. The one NFL game where I actually didn't really I never balked at anything. I never felt in a way where it was like a question, was the Eagles laying the points against the Jets. I don't know how the Jets block them, even though Jalen Carter is out. So that is unfortunate. That's upsetting that, no Jalen Carter today. So, we don't get the possibility of watching him just ragdoll this D line, or this O line. But I do believe that even their D line is insanely deep. Hassan Reddick is starting to get going since his ankle's been getting healthier. I just love what that D line has the potential to do against the Jets' bad offensive line. And we're starting to get the line swinging the other way, even with Sauce Gardner out. I'm laying the 6.5 with Philadelphia. Daniel and I talked about this the other night. I'll ask you guys. I think Philadelphia can get to 17 and cover this. I don't know how the Jets move the ball. Like, that's my biggest thing. I don't know how they score. I know the Eagles' secondary isn't good. Their pass defense isn't good. We all know that. But the Jets aren't going to block them. They're not going to be able to They're not going to be able to run the ball. When Wilson drops back, they're not going to have time. Their passing game isn't creative enough anyway to do much. The Eagles get to 17 points and you're cooking. That's my biggest take. I don't know if y'all agree with that or not, but I lay the 6.5 and don't blink at it.
I like it. I just put it in as a bet. I'm telling you, I trust you.
The other one, and we're getting good or better value on this one too, because it's down to 3.5. I like the Jags at home. It's a bit of a water-finding level play with the Colts. The Colts are going to want to run the ball, and the Jags' run defense is really, really, really good. They've got guys playing great in the middle of their defense. At D tackle, their linebackers are playing good, and their safeties are playing phenomenal as well. They're really good against the run. Plus, Ridley went nuts in week 1, and last week was a really good sign for the Jags offense of getting him involved, the passing game looking more cohesive. So I think you're going to see another big game from Ridley. I think you're going to see this Jags team continue to push forward. I think this Jags team is really, really good. There's a reason that I projected them to be the 1 seed, even though I think they'd have to go on a pretty crazy run from here to the end of the year for that to be a possibility. But I do think this Jags team is still really good. So yeah, we'll happily lay the 3.5 today against Gardner Minshew in the Gardner Minshew Bowl. And then finally, listen, man, you could try to roll up and play like Houston plus 2.5. You could try it. You could try to take a side in the Minnesota redacted game. You could take the Desmond Ritter-led Falcons, who are great at home, and lay the 1.5. You could take the Niners and lay the points in what could be a bad weather game against PJ Walker. But sometimes when you see a 15.5 point spread right in front of you, and one of the two teams is playing a backup quarterback and missing a bunch of players that are important, and they're already awful, sometimes you just got to lay a big number. And that's what we're doing. We're going to lay the 15.5 with the Buffalo Bills. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's horrendous. But we're going to do it. We're going to lay the points with the Bills. As much as I have issues with them, this is the perfect spot for Buffalo. This is the perfect spot for the back-to-back September champions, for the back-to-back September MVP and Josh Allen coming off a loss, for them to win 38-3, and then everyone tomorrow on their talk shows is going to be like, the Bills are back, baby. They're the best team in the league. Look at how good the Bills are. And yeah, the Bills are great when they're playing bad teams. They are. There is. And listen, I've gave them credit when they blew the Dolphins out with their season. People don't understand, though, that the Bills' season was on the line. And if you start 2-2, that's not good. Especially, and then if the Dolphins would have won that game, we'd all be betting them as Super Bowl favorites to start 4-0 with 3 of those wins on the road. But context doesn't matter there. The Bills just won the game. The Bills blew them out. I'm laying the 15.5 tonight. This is, like I said, this is 35-10. Oh, can the Giants score 10? Like I said the number. I said the number with the Eagles. if they score 17, I think they'll cover. I'll throw it out to y'all. How many points do the Bills have to score to cover 15.5 today?
16.
Yes, I love it.
What is the Does anybody know the alternate line or whatever they call it, where you go as max as you want for a certain price?
Yeah, the farthest I looked at it because I put one in for that. The farthest back it would let me take it was 3.5, and it was a -700.
Yeah, but what's the highest you can go? Lay them. Just lay all of them. Lay like minus 28 and a half.
Checking that now.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know what the highest is, but that's where I'd go.
Wouldn't that be something? Just to take the biggest line you could find.
If the Bills
-40.5 at +1700.
I'd take it.
Listen, if the Bills mess around, and this is Josh Allen has a couple dumb turnovers game, and this is like even remotely close, then I don't want to hear. And they still even somehow win by 7 to 10. I don't, which isn't even in their repertoire. They either like win big or lose. I don't want to hear about the Bills ever again. Like, this is a game where you should roll up to the park. You got the pickup team that you're playing at the park, and you and your 6 Division I college basketball friends are just out there calling game against these kids, and you're just dunking all over them. Like, this should be no contest. This should be a first round TKO. Like, this is the Bills' specialty. They roll up and play inferior teams, and they kill them. So we're laying the 15.5. It's disgusting, but we're doing it.
I did the same thing on Friday night. As a glimmer of hope for Giants fans, I think Saquon is playing. So
I just leave him on the bench at this rate. Hey, buddy.
I also
rest up
hate
and feel better.
Give him that. Go ahead and give him the 1 year, the 1 year full salary tomorrow, and just let him go.
Yeah, just like, dude, take care.
Just let him sit there.
Take care, brush your hair. And listen, I also despise that I'm taking 3 favorites, but like it's tough sledding this week, man. But yeah, so Jags Lamb, Eagles Lamb, Bills Lamb. Let's bounce back after a 1-2 day yesterday.
So I went 3-0 yesterday. We swept. We took Fresno State on the money line just because the way they played the last week. I was a little cautious to take the 4.5, but I was confident enough in them that they were going to win, so that cashed. I took Arkansas plus 19.5. I got a little nervous about that one after the first half, but this year I am fully fading any Nick Saban double-digit spread. This team cannot cover to save their life. And the SEC has gotten a lot better.
You got 19.5, right?
I got 19.5 for that. And that was as of when we went live on Friday.
I wouldn't say the SEC's got better, but I would say Bama's gotten worse. But you're right. Yeah, that game wasn't even ever in any doubt, really.
No, it got to like 17 at one point, and I was like, all right, this isn't going to hit. And then I looked at it, and it was 24-21 with 2 minutes left. And then we took also LSU Auburn. If DJ is still watching, how dare you doubt my Golden Bengals ever? We don't need another team to score. We'll score 61 on our own.
They said, we got you, boys. We got you.
It's all about what's a defense. So we went 3-0. We're going to try for the sweep today. I was feeling it this week. I took 2 that I really liked. I did the opposite of Joe. I didn't write anything down. I looked first look, best look, gut check calls this week. So our first one we got is Seahawks team total over 20.5. They've hit this every game except for the Rams game at the beginning of the season. This Bengals defense is atrocious. Don't let the numbers fool you. All their passing defense numbers look good because they've been getting blown out so bad. These teams are not throwing the ball. They're, I think, ranking like top 15 in defensive passing yards allowed. But if you look at 2 of their games, the other teams did not pass the ball the entire second half. So and their running game is terrible. You saw it what they let Derrick Henry do to them. He is now officially the owner of the Bengals after that game. I think this is going to be the most fun game of the year. This is 2 offenses that are very high powered, very fast, and like to go down the field as fast as possible. The Bengals have said Joe Burrow is back. He's 100% healthy. And I said it Friday, the Seahawks pretty much since week 1 are in win now mode for the entire season to be able to hold a wild card spot with how tough the NFC is. So with that, they're going to have to keep pace with anything that the Bengals are going to do, which means they're going to score at least 3 touchdowns today. So give me the team total over 20.5. The next one is New Orleans and Houston. I took the under at 41.5. Now, I think it's jumped up to either 42 or 43 the last time I saw it. But either way, I still love that one. Regardless of the money, with all the money going on it going up, I still like that. That is going to, I think that's going to be an under. This is two defensive-minded coaches with 2 offenses that still are trying to find an identity, I would say. I think with the Saints, they're trying to feed too many mouths at the same time when they really need to simplify it. And they don't really have anyone they're really throwing to in Houston. I think Tank Dell's out this week with a concussion, or he's probably not going to play a lot from it. Can you trust Nico Collins to go off again, or Robert Woods to go off, or do you trust Dalton Schultz to have a big game?
I trust their quarterback.
Listen, I think he'll get the yards. I don't think they're going to get the points. I think this is going to be a Kaimi Fairbairn legacy game. This is going to be nothing but field goals.
Let's go.
And then, so give me the under. The Saints they've only had one game this season go over 40 total points between them, and that was the blowout against the Patriots. That was it.
I thought that was 34-0.
I don't even think they hit it. Yeah, that's the closest I think I've seen.
I thought that was 34-0.
And they've had 2 games where the other team hasn't even scored 2 touchdowns. So this is a legit defense with a high school level offense that they're playing right now. And this is going to be that game that you look and you're going to see the first quarter's over and each team has thrown for 8 yards. This is going to be ugly, but I love it. So I'm taking the under there. And my last one, this is my favorite play of the whole year. I'm doing a heat check with this one. I took a parlay of Washington to be leading at the end of the first half, but Atlanta to win the game. Now, y'all can call me a hypocrite because I just sat there for 5 minutes crapping all over Kyle Pitts and the entire Atlanta Falcons organization.
You nerd.
But looking at the numbers, every game that the Falcons have won this season, they have not been leading at the end of the first half of all games but one this season. And that was the Panthers game against Bryce Young. Every other game they have been losing going into the second half, and they have won 2 of those games. I think this is a Commanders team that they're going to have, after that terrible game against the Bears, they're going to have to put something up. They're going to probably hit them in the mouth the first half, and then they're going to ease off, and Desmond Ridder's going to have another fourth quarter game.
So what you're saying, they're going to interview Desmond Ridder after the game, and he's going to hit him with they had us in the first half. I ain't going to lie.
They are. It's going to be a Desmond Ridder pass is going to go over Kyle Pitts' head right to Jonnu Smith for the touchdown. That's how it's going to end. I'm calling it right now.
It goes off of Pitts' hands.
That's brutal.
Bijan Robinson catches it. That's what it is.
That'd be rough.
That's tough.
So that's the rest of my Sinister Six. I do have, when I was looking this morning, a couple player props that I do love. I am all in on the fade this week. I don't like doing it. I don't like taking unders because that's when the little tiny BS crap happens and someone gets they give them 1 yard extra on a bad play. But I am fully fading people this week. Maybe it's how salty I was for them being terrible for me last week, but I took Christian Kirk's under on receiving yards. When he played this team week 1, he had 17 yards. They've openly stated that when they're playing teams that play this type of defense, they keep Christian Kirk out of the game plan because he cannot play against defenses. Then you saw it. I think I actually talked about it week 2. When they go against man defense, Kirk is their go-to. When they go against zone, it's Ridley because you saw the difference when he played the Chiefs versus when he played the Colts. And going against another zone defense, Kirk is going to be non-existent this game. This is going to be all Ridley and Ingram. His line, I believe, last I saw was at 67, and I got it at 63.5. It's down to 61 now. So that's something I would really take. If it gets under 60, I'd stay away. The next one is going to be Josh Jacobs is under on rushing and receiving yards. I took that one because it's going to give, instead of just rushing yards straight up, because it's giving you a little extra wiggle room. His rushing yards is at 71. His rushing receiving is at 99. So I think, yeah, he's good for a couple screen passes, but as bad as the Patriots offense has been, so I feel like the Raiders has been just a little bit better. It's the Patriots offense, but with all pro players on their team and Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. This is going to be that game that everyone always jokes, the Bill Belichick game, that's each team gets 3 points in the first 3 quarters, and it comes down to some weird, crazy last-minute play like last year.
Can they top last year, though? What would top last year?
If Bailey Zappi comes in and throws for 400 yards in the second half.
That would be awesome.
I need a Bailey Zappi come in the second half and dominate game. That's what it's going to be. But Jacobs has not hit this line all season. He's only hit his over in the rushing receiving 1 week. He hasn't hit his rushing yard all season. He hasn't had over 70 yards in a single game this year. So I'm fading him. As much as this team is terrible, Belichick is a defensive mastermind, and he's going to do against the former coach. He's going to shut him down. And I'm also fading Garoppolo going against his former quarterback. He's going to know how to play him. His receiving yards his passing yards was 233. That, yes, you have Devontae Adams, but that's way too high for the way this team has been playing. So I'm fading Garoppolo there. But I do have one over. It'll be my last play. It's Jamar Chase's over in receiving yards. He was hot last week. I think that hot streak is going to continue. But also, like I said, this is going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be that game where both teams score 30 points. This is the game that we thought we were going to see with the when the Vikings played the Chargers. We thought it was going to be that big, like 40-point each kind of game. I think this is that game that we're going to see that in. So give me Jamar Chase's over. It was at 88.5 last I saw. I think I'm seeing it now on some books around like 89 or 90. So get that in. Those are my plays for the day. We're going to post a couple parlays and a couple prize picks plays on our Twitter page, Gotham Gambling, within the next 15 minutes.
I like it. Let's hit to anytime touchdowns for everybody here. So DJ at a rough 0-5 takes Jamar Chase. Joe taking Stephon Diggs. Chris lost already, taking Isaiah Pacheco. Brian, who is that? Eckler coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And we got Brinks with Raheem Mostert. I took Kyron Williams. Vasco with David Montgomery. Dan, Lamar Jackson. Did Lamar Jackson get in the end zone at all?
No, they keep getting the ball to the 3-yard line and kicking field goals. They've kicked 3 20-yard field goals today.
So then Aaron, who's going 5-0, has got Mostert as well. And then Doug. I was wondering what. So it's so funny because Doug brought this up yesterday when we were kind of talking. He's like, I think he's going to have the worst time saying this guy's name. I don't even want to try.
Victor Wembanyama, bro. You better practice it because that is our future Lord and Savior of basketball. Our overlord. Victor Wembanyama.
7'7" man should be able to do the things that man is doing on the court right now.
Give it up. Whatever it is. Hey, hold on. Go back to DJ's record real quick. Go back. Solid record, DJ. Oh, it's blocking it. Good job, DJ. Yeah, sorry, I had to get that.
So he's going to score a touchdown this week, according to Doug. So Doug's going to be 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets the call in Houston, just lob the ball up.
Oh my god,
I like it.
I can't do it. I'm gonna
do a show now with you. I'm just gonna give you random NBA players' names. We gotta get you to pronounce them.
So I pay attention enough to NBA to probably get it, but I've only heard this guy's name at the draft and then a couple other times, and I saw it last night. And I'm like Wembanyama. I'm like, I don't know.
The Kings got a guy that the announcers for the opposing team they played the other night. His name has so many V's and L's and I's that they just said number 25 3 times before they could figure it out.
I like it. All right, hey, real quick, we're going to get these
there.
last few commercials out of the way, and then we're going to head out to rapid fire before we close up the show.
Take your energy level to new heights this football season with Lifted Energy. Try any of Lifted's 9 specialty energy drinks or create your own and conquer fatigue. Visit Lifted this fall at 2430 16th Street, Moline, or check their Facebook page at Lifted Energy to see what festival, market, or fair they are popping up at today. Lifted Energy, get lifted. Hate mowing? Need your lawn or business landscaped? Having trouble with an unruly yard that your neighbors hate? Yard Barbers LLC is your hookup. Mowing, weeding, edging, trimming, aerating, fertilizing, haul away, they can do it all. And they aren't just good for your summertime yard blues. They work all year long, and you can get signed up for their winter services for that annoying snow and ice removal. Find Yard Barbers on Facebook at Yard Barbers LLC. Send them an email at yardbarbersqc@gmail.com or shoot them a text at 309-235-1595.
Do you love everything sports? So do we. That's why we shop at Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles. Atomic has everything you could ever want to blow up your collections. They have sports cards ranging from the 1980s to today, whether it's singles, wax packs, hangers, or boxes. They've got vintage hats, clothes, and collectibles from your favorite teams to widen your collection. Check out Atomic Sports Cards and Collectibles today at 102 4th Street West, Milan, Illinois.
You from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football. Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and Twitter, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
You from the West, we got you covered.
And we're back. We're going to fire these rapid-fire questions off here. Get everybody rolling to close out the show here. All right, who wants to take this? QB1, RB1, wide receiver 1, tight end 1. Who wants to go first?
QB1, I'm going to go... I'll go Kirk Cousins this week. I think he's got to prove himself this week, and they're going to have to throw. That's going to be another game they're going to have to throw the ball.
You're muted, Brian. Oh. Brian, you're muted.
Whoops, sorry guys.
We're back, baby.
I'm gonna take the tight end 1 category. It's already been played with Kelsey, but Hawkinson will be my tight end 1 for today.
I definitely thought you were going Pitts, but damn it.
We've talked enough about Pitts, haven't we?
All right, Joe, who you got? Well, running back or wide receiver?
I'll go with. I'll go wide receiver. And I will go Stephon Diggs.
So that leaves me with running back. So running back, I'm going to go a little weird here. Well, not really. Actually, I am going to go a little weird. I'm going to say DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift for me. Jets defense hasn't been that great against the run game this year, and he's getting a lot of the carries. And I think we talked about the Eagles enough to where if they jump out to that 17-0 lead or 24-0 lead, I think he just keeps getting the rock and keeps running it down their throats. So DeAndre Swift for me, running back 1.
I'll put a sneaky wide receiver 1. I'm gonna say Gabe Davis because we haven't said his name in 2 weeks.
And we got to throw Kyle Pitts in there as tight end 1.
That's me.
All right, boys.
The one of y'all going to say is one of y'all going to say James Cook for running back 1? Jesus Christ.
No. The Bills again. All right, Brian, I'm going to ask you real quick, what game that isn't your team are you watching today?
I've talked about it all day long, but I would go with the Jags Colts.
What do you got, Dan?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. What do you got, Joe?
Bucks Lions. Bucks Lions,
Bucks.
or I'll go Bucks Lions.
I'm going Commanders Falcons just because I talked a lot of smack on that game, and I talked a lot of smack on that bet, and I'm gonna eat my words, or I'm gonna be celebrating a sweep today.
You just said that you had a certain. I didn't pick the one game because you've been saying all day that this one game is going to be game of the year, and you didn't pick it.
Oh, the Bears game?
No, the Seahawks
Simpson-
Bengals game.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's my game right there. You know, I was gonna say Bears Vikings, but I think you're right, man. I think Cincinnati and the Seahawks is. I think that's going to be the game to watch. My team doesn't play till Monday night, so
I'm just going to watch.
In regards to that Bears Vikings, I don't think we should ever pick a game where you have two losing teams as our game to watch. So.
Correct.
I don't know.
Those are the most fun. They have nothing to lose.
The greatest.
All right, we got one last question here before we head off, and then don't forget to tune into Gotham Gambling. Here he's going to go on with the Golden Ticket Show. Amari Cooper, are we playing him against San Francisco with PJ Walker at the helm?
No.
Well, honestly, I don't know what your other choices are, but no.
Jordan's got a lot of choices. I think he's got 47 teams, so he'll find somebody. We got still a couple minutes. We got these other questions in the pull up or in the shot sheet here if we want to throw them back or just kind of roll through.
Did he update that?
There's just right if you look at the bottom, the numbered questions there. Those are ones that are down here. You might not have them, but I can throw them up there.
Yeah, I don't have them. If you want to throw them up there.
Yeah. So just some rapid fire stuff. Rashad White or Saquon? Is Saquon playing today?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to Saquon.
I'm going to say Rashad White just because I don't trust anything involving the New York Giants this year. Like, they're going to give him the ball, and it's going to be like that scene from The Longest Yard where the whole offensive line just doesn't block, and he just gets clobbered. Like, he's going to get hurt by the end of this week.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I go Rashad White. To me, like you said, I mean, the Bills get out to a huge lead. Like, why risk having Saquon out there getting hurt, coming back from an injury? So, yeah, Rashad White.
Yeah, I would probably say Rashad White too. We probably all go quickly on this one because this is on here. Monty or Saquon? I'd say Saquon or Monty as well.
Monty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Monty's having a great year, and no Gibbs today. So yeah, Monty. Breece Hall or James Cook?
Breece Hall.
Breece.
Yeah, I'm gonna go James Cook, man. The Eagles defense is it's gonna be a rough. So and then I could, like you said, Bills get out to a huge lead. Here you go.
Yeah, I think James Cook could score a few cheapies today. Debo or Thielen?
Give me my pasty-skinned prince, Adam Thielen.
I want to say Debo, but I'll go with Thielen just because
they're going to blow him out, and he's going to be off the field just like a couple of weeks ago when he put up a 0.2 point game in fantasy.
Yep, I'll take Thielen.
No reason to use him. So.
Yeah, Thielen's going to get 41 targets today. Calvin Ridley or Michael Pittman? I'm going to go Ridley.
Ridley
against his own defense is deadly. So give me that.
Look at you breaking it down. Pick 2. Godwin, Puka, or Addison? I'm going to go Puka and Addison. Ride the Puka train till the wheels fall off,
Mike
baby.
Evans is back this week, right?
Yep, Mike Evans is playing.
Yeah, so I'd go Puka and Addison.
Puka and Addison.
I'm the same way.
Look at us all. Who needs Chris Steele to agree with Brian when we all agree with each other? Breida or Keontae Ingram? This guy said, "Yeah, I'm screwed at running back." Yeah, no shit. Good Lord.
Could you go with no running back, and you might be able to come up with more points?
Is death an option? Good Lord, that's brutal. Pick one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Peterson there. That's the best option you have.
Yeah. Does Frank Gore have a game in him?
Go Ingram for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
that's true. You put that one.
It's Jordan Rangel. He's already started Spears. That's how desperate.
Hey, at least you got passing yards.
That is true. Yeah, Brian. In fairness, Brian did mention Keontae Ingram earlier. All right, two more. Pick one: London, Hollywood, or Pittman. Ooh, that's tough.
Give me Hollywood. That's the go-to.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Pittman.
I lied. I'm going to take London today. Again, I think the Falcons are going to scheme stuff up to hit some big pass plays against the overly aggressive, bad defense.
I can't pick a Falcons player for another week or two after I said all that. So
that is fair. Well, I did.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith, I love you and your mustache. Drake London.
Go back to FedEx.
Yeah, Drake London. And then last one, or did everyone else? My bad. Brian, Jordan, what did you guys have on them?
No, I think Brian went with Pittman.
Okay.
And I'm on board with Hollywood. So
yeah, which means you're screwed because we said to pick all of them. And then pick two to end it: Puka, Addison, and Lockett. I'm gonna ride it, Puka and Addison, baby.
Yeah, I'm setting Lockett.
Yep.
Quick sidebar. Malik Willis already has half the passing yard Ryan Tannehill has.
God, he's so good.
He's got 26, and he's almost there.
Oh.
The Titans are a disaster.
Good God, yeah.
Now we're done.
All right, boys. Well, appreciate you guys sitting in. Thanks for bearing with me. Hosting duties is actually thought pretty smooth. So, but all right, guys, that's it. That's it for the show today. For Frequency Sake Network, Brian, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Vandegrad92 on X.
On X, I like it. Joe?
Or otherwise known as the artist formerly known as Twitter. Look, you can find me on certain social media platforms. Just find Joe Winkle, Joe the Show Winkle, etc. But mainly, you see the thing on the bottom all day. Subscribe to us on YouTube, man. I want us to get to 100 YouTube subscribers, but during the regular season, we're pushing 70 right now. So if we get close to 100, that would be awesome. And then check us out tonight on our live show, the Educated Ignorance Podcast. My man Nick Brinks will be with me. Every Sunday and Monday, every Sunday night, we do a whole Sunday recap. And then Monday nights, it's me. I'll come do the Monday night show or Monday night football game recap. And then my Elite Eight, which is the top 8 teams in the league. So every Sunday and Monday night live, we bring it to you. So as I always say, our podcast network, we're doing so many great things. We start days with this show and then the Educated Ignorance Podcast tonight. So come be a part of that tonight. And of course, subscribe on YouTube at For Frequency Sake QC. We really appreciate it.
Dan, are you going with the Golden Ticket Show?
Yeah, Golden Ticket Show starting up as soon as we're done here. Sorry, I'm literally watching this game. Willis has 80 yards passing right now already.
Go off, King.
Tyjae Spears just had a 50-yard reception. So this, I'm
there
sweating.
You go, Wrangle.
Right
there you go, Jordan.
There you go. Jordan's happy.
Jordan. Golden Ticket Show. We go live every Sunday, Monday, and check us out, Gotham Gambling. We post at least 3 plays every day. We cover everything from NHL, Premier League, NFL, NBA, MLB. We're up pretty well in this year since we joined over with For Frequency's Sake. We're up about 25 units on the year. So if you follow us with our unit size at $10, you'd be up $250 just following our bets. I think, Jordan, I know you're a testament to that. Listen, if I have one person follow me, I know it's Jordan. So
share and post everything. No, yeah, you're doing fantastic. I love it. And it's like, I always try to get cute with it, but sticking to the script and just literally, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. You guys know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. Great odds and stuff. But yeah, I share everything. So if you're following me on X at JFantasy_sports, I usually repost everything that Dan's got. You can find me here every Friday night hanging out with Brian Craighead for DFS Deep Dive, 7:15. We'll break it all down for you. And then I've got my article that comes out every Friday morning at 10 a.m. So, guys, that's going to do it for the week. Thank you for tuning in for the For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network, presented by Durham Remodeling and Ryan Allison Tattoo, and the For Frequency's Sake, presented by Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill. I'll see you guys next week.